question which is worth 40 marks. We're told that Rory has a weekend job and his total pay per day is a fixed rate plus tips, where the tips are a percentage of the customer's spend. We're given a graph of this, showing Rory's total pay per day depending on the customer spend. The customer spend in hundreds of euro is on the x-axis and his total pay per day is on the y-axis. In part A, we're asked, what is Rory's fixed rate per day? So this corresponds to the point x is equal to 0 on the graph. So we can see on the y-axis that his fixed rate per day is 80 euro. Moving on to part B, we're told that one day the customer spend was 500 euro, so S is equal to 5 on the x-axis, and we're asked what Rory's total pay on that day was. So we can find this by looking at our graph and drawing a line up from 5 on the x-axis until we hit the graph. Then we draw a horizontal line until we hit the y-axis, and we read off that his total pay per day in this case would be 130 euro. In B part 2, we're asked how much was Rory paid in tips on this particular day. So to find this, we take his total pay, which was 130 euro, and take away his fixed rate, which was 80 euro. And finally we get an answer of 50 euro, which is how much he was paid in tips on that day. Moving on to part C, we're asked what the point 2.5105 corresponds to on the graph in terms of Rory's total pay and the customer spend. So in this case S would be equal to 2.5, which is the value on the x-axis, and we're told that this is in hundreds of euros. So really this corresponds to a customer spend of 250 euro. And or is the y value, which is 105, and that means Rory's total pay for that day was 105 euro. Moving on to part D, we're given 3 equations to find or, and we have to find which one is correct and give a reason for it. So going back to the start of the question, we see that to find his total pay per day, we have the fixed rate of 80 euro, and this gets increased as the customer spend increases. So therefore the formula to find or must be 80 plus a multiple of S. So with that in mind, taking another look at our options, we know that it can't be the first one because that would imply that his pay gets less the more the customers spend. It also can't be the second one because in that case he'd have a fixed pay of 130 euro. So therefore the correct answer is or is equal to 80 plus 10s. So our justification for this is that Rory's fixed pay per day is 80 euro and he gets an extra 10 euro for every 100 euro customer spend. And that's where we get the formula or is equal to 80 plus 10s. Finally in part E, we're told that Killian also has a weekend job. His pay per day C is calculated as C is equal to 60 plus 20s, where S is the customer spend in hundreds of euros. We have to draw the graph of Killian's pay on the axis provided. So our first point is going to be when S is equal to 0, and in that case we get C is equal to 60. So our first point is 0, 60. Our next point is going to be C is equal to 60 plus 20 times 1, which is 80. So that's the point 180. So C just increases by 20 euro each time, so our points will look like this. Now we just need to connect them together with a straight line. And so finally, this is what your graph should look like. This question was really complicated, so I hope you all understand. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again.